Okay. Yeah, let's just start, huh? Let's just start the stream already. How's everybody doing? Is anyone here? I don't know. That's alright. I am just getting my T's crossed and the I's dotted and all that kind of business. I'll maybe knock the microphone gain up a little bit, and hopefully that's a decent mix. Welcome. Welcome. Congratulations on Friday. I think it's the end of Friday for just about everybody at this point. I'm very happy about that. I'm not so happy about the weather, but that's just kind of our lives right now, isn't it? But yeah, that's what's going on. Purple says hello. Hi, Purple. Welcome back. Thank you for joining the stream. Sploinky, that's a guess, says hi. Smiley face. Welcome to the stream, Sploinky. I will try my best to nail that name every time, although we'll see how that goes. Purple says I like their video and reaction videos. Thank you very much. That one took, that was about, I'd say 3 months of production time, maybe 1 month of post-production on that one. That was a big old project. But yeah, sorry, I haven't been streaming for a little bit, just because I didn't feel like it, basically. But yeah, here we are. The sort of main thing that I will be doing today is playing some Demon Throttle, which is a game that was only released physically for the Switch as a marketing gimmick. I like the developer behind the game, so I pre-ordered it a year ago, forgot about it many times, and it showed up a couple days ago. It showed up on the 2nd. So it's been a while, but the game did finally show up, and I have not seen anybody talking about it or reviewing it or whatever, but I've been having a decent time with it, so I figured, hey, whatever, we'll play some of it on the stream, I guess. But as with most streams, we're just hanging out. We're just hanging out for as long as I can stand. That's sort of the MO here. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, that's what we're doing. And wow, it's already warm with the fans off. Can't have the fans on when I'm on the the microphone, but my goodness, it's really bad. It's just the humidity. Splinky says, "You pronounced it right." Oh, good. I'm happy for myself then. But how is everyone doing? Is everyone okay? Are we doing all right? Have we been having a nice time? Wow, the forecast is terrible too. Everybody make it through the week okay? I would assume so. If you're here and you made it to a live stream, I would assume that everybody is a-okay for the most part. But yeah, thank you so much for coming out to the stream live. Also, a nice friendly hello to anybody watching the the archive version of the stream later on. I appreciate that very much too. And yeah. Football says 1. There you go. Depending on time zone, it might be very late for that person. It's just a guess. I don't know. But I have a beverage going. Am I allowed to say that I'm drinking? Is that legal on YouTube? I'm drinking some wine because I am of legal age. And that's going all right. It's my favorite Trader Joe's wine. So I'm a-okay with that so far. Spunky says, I'm alright. It's been pretty uncomfortably warm around my area recently, but I'm in the UK, so I can't even begin to imagine how hot it must be everywhere else. Football says, lol, it's 3, and ignore the 1, so great. Okay, I think I understand what football is saying, for the most part. Anyway, yeah, to what Splinky was saying, yeah, gosh, that's been a big discussion for the last couple of years, too, is that how in the UK, it's like I don't know if infrastructure would be the right word, but it's just a very common thing to not have air conditioning of any kind. Just wasn't built with that in mind, all that kind of stuff. I don't have air conditioning either where I live. It's just a very old building, and there isn't a good way to make it happen. So I have a good idea of what that's like. But yeah, we're also in Southern California here, so it tends to get like it is technically the desert. So it gets just a wee bit warm, you know. Anyway, but you know what? We're surviving. We're surviving. We're oh good. My fist wasn't on screen. I wouldn't want that. Also, I'll tell you another really minor challenge that I've been up against with the heat. Sleeping is tough when it's muggy out, right? The humidity's bad. It's gross. But I got a nice mattress pad. I got one of those like memory foam things you put on top of the mattress, right? And it's actually pretty good. But you sink into it. So even if you have fans going and stuff, you don't get any of that. So you're just kind of like, wow, I'm really, this would be nice if it's cold out. So that's been, oh boy, such a big challenge. Yeah, I was doing a lot of driving around today for reasons that I might touch on later. But even just having air conditioning in a car, it's like, wow, what a treat. What an incredibly environmentally unkind thing to do, but very comfortable for me. Very nice to have in the here and now. Blanky says, yeah, our houses are built to keep all the warmth in. Somebody got hit with a heat wave recently. Nobody was prepared. Makes total sense, right? Like, you know, building standards of decades and centuries past weren't considering like, oh, what if the whole planet just gets real warm later? There was one guy, there was George, you see. George was helping out, you know, on some building projects and stuff. Maybe he was an upstart architect. And George was like, it's good to have the warmth inside the house in certain times of year. But what if, way in the future, when these buildings are still around, we don't want the heat to stick around on the inside? And everyone was like, George, get out of here. What are you talking about, George? You're not even invited to the pub later. You can't come to the Winchester with us. And George was like, oh, shoot. And he lost all confidence, and he never brought it up again. So that's a sad story. 100% true, and definitely not something that I just thought up now. Gonna have some more wine. Purple says, where I live, it's always hot, like 90 degrees all the time. Yuck, I don't want that. Well, I guess that's kind of what I have right now. As the humidity's been worser this year than any other year that I've lived here, so it just stinks. It feels so gross. I never wanted to live in a steam room, you know, it's just a place to visit, and then you're all done with that. Football says over 92 degrees in Poland today. Oh, is that Celsius? I missed the mattress pad. AC equals wealth. There you go. I mean, pretty much. Wealth and environmental destruction, right? Something like that. So you know what? Let's, I mean, we're still just hanging out. Don't worry. The stream topics never take over from just hanging out, so feel free to talk about whatever. But I do want to do a brief show and tell of the packaging and everything for the game Demon Throttle, which I'll be playing in just a little bit, because the whole point is it's only a physical release. They're never going to sell it digitally, which is gimmicky and silly and kind of fun and also kind of awful because it limits access to the game. But as a result, the way that they handled the physical release is actually pretty decent. So I'll show you just a little bit of that just for fun. What's my favorite season as a Californian? There is one season. It's just one season. It's just all the time. It's like the infinity logo. Just forever. And it's called Now. That is the one season in most of California. And it also feels like time travel. Because all of a sudden it's been years. And you don't feel like the weather's changed much at all. It's one of those things. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can do... Here we go. I'm gonna move the camera around. Look at this. Oh, do I have enough leash on the camera? Probably not. What if I point it way down here at the table? Let me see if this will be enough room for me to work with. Sorry, I know it's not the most appealing setup visually. Okay, all right. Anyway, here's the game. So it comes in this little Switch case, which is not bad. I really like the cover art. It's not the same as the art in the game at all. Sorry for the glare also. But pretty decent. Here, I'll shut off this screen here. And then you get a sense for on the back what the game actually looks like in terms of that screen cap there, if you can see. Very chunky, pixely, old-time stuff. And then on the inside, you can see Animal Crossing because I put it in there. And some nice little bits of art. They have a little instruction booklet here, which I won't show, but it has some nice details. It's a little tiny guy. It has some little messages from the devs and all that kind of thing. Kind of neat. There you go. It's some number of, I guess they only made 10,000 of them. Is it 10,000 or 10,000? On top of that, this company just does a bunch of physical release games. And they gave some nice little stickers of guys from the game. Look how cute. Those are very nice. Just well-designed stickers. That's all you need to give me, and then I'm happy. Even though, doesn't it look like with these ones, maybe you can't see, it looks like there's some printing issues, potentially. I don't think it was necessarily designed to have those lines there. So that's that. Anyway, that's what we have for the physical release. So beyond that is the game itself. It's from a developer called Doinksoft, who I like quite a bit. They have another big game called Gato Roboto, and they have another one coming out that they've already announced called Gumbrella, which is like action platformer thing. Gato Roboto is like a Metroidvania thing. Love that game. That's why I felt motivated to buy this one. This is very small and it's very short. There are 4 main levels total, and then some secrets and stuff hidden in there as well, but like pretty darn small. So I'm a little split on the thing overall, but Purple asks a very pertinent question: how much did it cost? Good question, Purple. $30 for the single, and then they had some kind of special edition for like $40. And then on top of that, you have shipping. You do not get free shipping with this company, which is called Special Reserve Games. So it rounded out to about $40. And on top of that, yeah, I ordered last July, pre-ordered, and I just got it the 2nd of this month. It also shipped on the 21st of July, so it took roughly 2 full weeks to show up. So there's some things about the experience where I just kind of feel like, why? But in the end, here it is. If I felt like being one of those jerks who like flips this kind of stuff on eBay, which by the way, people are already doing, I could. I won't. I won't. But yeah, the price tag is a bit steep. I get that it's a small run. It costs money to produce all this stuff, design, blah, 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 actually get the thing made. So whatever, but don't worry, I'll get to the gameplay. And by the way, I'm really bad at the game. And it's pretty tough, maybe because it's pretty small in scope. So like a lot of the old school stuff, in fact, like Load Runner here, The Legend Returns. Oh, it's looping right now. This is Load Runner. Just loop to the part I want you to loop, Load Runner. Like the old DOS games, like the early console games, it's really tough because there's not a lot of meat on the bone. They needed to inflate playtime by making it difficult. And the way that it's happening here kind of feels like an homage to that style of game, while also just being, I don't know, hard for the sake of being hard. I'm fine with all that. I'm not very good at it. And I'll not be good at it today because I'm drinking wine and I'm on stream, but get that all out of here. Get it out. We should just get down and play some of the game itself while chatting with all you lovely folks. Is that a lot for Switch games? Well, I mean, Switch, like other platforms, you know, like $60 is the full price for the big AAA games, and then way down the line, you have various price points for indie games. I'd say those tend to be anywhere from $5 to $25 full priced. So it's not insane, also given the circumstances. And then there's the discussion we could have about, like, the gimmick of only having it being a physical release. And if you didn't get that pre-order, you just can't get it. They might change that in the future, but kind of silly. I get it's a gimmick. I get it's not the biggest game. It's not the most important game in the world. But yeah, the idea of limiting access on purpose, I'm sure someone will dump it and put it up online for people to pirate. But anyway. So yeah, so with that, I'll fade out here, the music, and we'll hop in, and hopefully I get to show you the intro sequence because it's very well made and animated. Let me get my switch capture up here again. There we go. I'll get it started and have a drink. And yeah, has anybody been watching anything recently, playing anything recently that they feel compelled to talk about? Anything you would like to discuss here? New and exciting news, any of that business? Oh, even that art's pretty nice. That looks pretty good. It's not what the game looks like at all, but that's fine. Are we going? Is it? Okay, took a little bit there. Sound is fantastic. Really great stuff. Hey, is that Cyberpunk 2077 anime out yet? That Kill la Kill made? I only saw that recently. I was like, wait, I might actually be interested in that. I think it's a Netflix show? Alright. Blinky says I've been getting back into Splatoon and Miitopia lately. My kind of person. Gotcha. I immediately want to ask you about Splatoon. I assume Splatoon 2. I'm just going to guess Splatoon 2. Maybe you're playing Splatoon 1 on Wii U and Miitopia on 3DS, I don't know. But, regardless, are you buying Splatoon 3? Do you care about Splatoon 3? Are you buying on launch? Do you feel excited for Splatoon 3? I'm a casual Splatoon 2 person. I appreciate a lot of what's there. The mechanics are really solid. It's just great fun gameplay overall. DLC was really fun for Splatoon 2. But yeah, I think like plenty of other people, I feel a little bit hesitant about Splatoon 3 just because I don't know that much about it yet. We know that it's going to have Salmon Run again. New weapons. So a new meta along with that. But what else do we have with that one, you know? Splunky says, yep, I never got the chance to get a Wii U. I was obsessed with Miitopia on the DS, so I had to get it on Switch. Cool. There you go. Yeah, I haven't done Miitopia yet, but it does seem neat. A very customizable, like, RPG kind of experience. Football says, I love Splatoon 2 too. Oh, that's fun to say. Splatoon 2 2. That's what they should have called the next game, Splatoon 2 2. Yeah, which comes out like really soon. Doesn't it come out like this month or something? Like this month or next month? We get Splatoon 3. And I don't know. I feel like I need a little bit more there. Splunky says, I'm super excited for Splatoon 3, but I'm not a hardcore player. Nintendo have been barely hyping it up, and I'm interested in what's to come. Yeah, and like maybe we'll get some giant thing before it comes out. I think Arlo was saying this the other day. I watch a lot of Arlo. And yeah, he was saying like, you want the big gimmick with the new game. You want something that's going to like change the experience in a really big way. And we haven't seen that so far. It just looks like more of Splatoon, which is fine. But also more, please. And then in the initial teaser, they were like, oh, it's going to have this really cool story stuff going on and the post-apocalyptic things coming back into play. But we haven't gotten a follow-up on that at all. So, very curious. But I don't know if I'll get it like launch day. But I do think I want to get Splatoon 3. It's, it's a fun series. Maybe I can be decent at it for the first few days before everybody gets really good. Okay. Is everybody ready for this incredible intro cutscene? Not suitable for young children? Because I'll get that started in just a minute. Swanky says it's super early, September, I think. A lot of people are under the impression a big announcement is coming soon, though, with what's going on the Splatoon Twitter account. Oh, are they Are they teasing? Are they getting us ready, or are people getting too excited? Because that's happened before too, where they're like, "Oh, it's gonna be huge." They're like, "Nah, nah." Sorry, got a somewhat urgent text I have to answer. Okay, alright, I'm gonna go ahead and play. I really like the intro sequence to this game, and I'm gonna play it. And unfortunately, it plays every single time. You start up a new round, you can't skip it, but it's like, you could just skip it for me. Here we go. I'll bring up the, Sorry, this is just character select. You can have 2-player, but we're not doing that. Are we okay now? I think so.
Those demons stole my chalices.
That demon kissed my wife. Or something.
Okay. That's the opening cutscene. I really like it. It reminds me of the old days, and I guess I'm starting right now. Okay. Sorry. I will also read the comment. Splinky says, my guess is that they're just going to say who the new idols are, right, like with Pearl Marina last time, but I'm kind of hoping we get some Splatfest news. Oh, I'm sure there will be at least a couple of big Splatfests early on, right? Everybody loves the Splatfest. Yeah, and someone, because I didn't play the first game at all, I also didn't have a Wii U, but someone had to point out to me, yeah, the idols in that game are Callie and Marie, which is a play on calamari, which is very fun. So that's a good job. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't. As for Pearl and Marina, I don't think I ever. I don't know. Do they show up in the single player campaign at all in Splatoon 2? Because I think that's back to Marie or something, right? The Squid Sisters. Anyway. Music, I am all for a new Splatoon OST. Like, they have some really fantastic music through the whole series so far. So, yeah, that's going to be pretty fun to check out. Where do I want to go here? So, yeah, so this is a shmup, if it wasn't already obvious. Retro style, very chunky pixel art. I don't know what this qualifies, like 16-bit, I guess. Top down, and you can switch characters. So here is the Vampirus, or whatever we call her, Vampirus. Water really slows you down, and you can't fire in the water, so that's like a big thing to avoid. And I'm also getting hit by everything. Very busy, and like I said, it's not the hardest thing in the world, but it is pretty tough. You don't have a dodge roll or anything in this one. Instead, you have a jump. So you have a jump on the B button, and then your auto fire is on the Y button, and then I think bombs are A. And then here's our boss. Each level has a main boss. Obviously, they also have like little hidden levels within. I love that intro cutscene, super neat. Yeah, I like it too. It's fun. Reminds me of the old days. I think Pearl Marina are only in the DLC, unfortunately. Oh, that stinks. I mean, I do like that DLC, but Oh, sorry, I was supposed to advance dialogue. I thought I was frozen. Purple says, I thought the game was like Hollow Knight. No, not really. Not really much at all. Not really a Metroidvania type of thing. But their previous game, Gato Roboto, is actually much more similar to Hollow Knight because it has that Metroidvania structure. And if you haven't played that one, it's super cheap on basically every platform. I think it's like $6 full price or something like that. It's very short, but it's a ton of fun. I really like Gato Roboto. and even just the animation work and character designs and stuff, they really know how to handle that stuff super well. I'm doing okay so far, but this is where it really gets this kind of phase. Yeah, still getting used to the jump dodge thing. Okay, we're doing okay. Can I do a bomb? That did not do a bomb. This part, I just don't know. Okay, but I'm not hitting anything. I have to hit the hands. Okay. I'm getting like one hit per cycle here. This is not ideal. Oh, this is okay. Oh, well, and then I immediately got hit. Okay, just have to get the rhythm here. Oh, didn't have it there. And then we're back to this. Okay, sorry that I'm not looking at the chat at the moment, but we'll get there. I am trying my best and kind of doing... Well, never mind. I was about to say that I'm doing all right for once, and then I killed off that character. So it's kind of nice that even in single player it gives you the chance to, oh yeah, use the bomb. Oh, do you think we got him? Where's his health bar? Do I not even get to see it? Oh, no. Oh. And there we have it. And we go right back to the start. So get ready, folks. Because I am just going to hit my head against this thing for however long I can stand it. Yeah, that's the plan. So yeah, not similar to Hollow Knight in terms of game design or structure or anything, but interesting. It's interesting. It's decently fun. But as you'll see here again, after character select, oh look at that! I get the intro sequence again, and I don't want that every time. Can I pause? Yeah. Splanky says, I love how campy and retro this game is. The gameplay seems tricky as heck, but I've always had a soft spot for this genre. Yeah, no, it's fun. Like, at the end of the day, it's a fun little game. It's retro style, obviously. It's definitely not something that the team spent a ton of time on. Like, I don't think they saw it as one of their main releases, just as like a quick little thing they could do, you know, and release just like that. With relative ease, but yeah, it has plenty of flair. It has some lovely animations. There's a great bounce. It does feel modern ultimately in terms of like movement and mechanics and stuff, which I appreciate because sometimes retro games can feel very stiff and awkward. I don't know how to shoot guys that are up there. I can't do it by jumping. I guess I have to climb up somewhere to get on their level first. I haven't figured that out yet. Let's switch to the vampire lady real quick here. Grab whatever that is. It's a bomb. Okay. Can I get that fly? That, like, dragonfly? I guess not. Whoops. And then we can also get upgrades, I guess. So there's sort of light RPG elements in here. Anyway. But yeah, sorry. Don't worry. I won't focus too much on the game in terms of talking points or anything. But yeah, it's fun, and this is what I'll be doing in the background as we chat about various things. But yeah, as for Splatoon, I'm sure I will buy the third game at some point, but yeah, it still seems a little bit strange that they're doing it for the Switch, as opposed to waiting for the next Nintendo console, which we know we're going to get. Oh, and then in the water I can only shoot when I'm jumping. Oh, I don't like how the level has changed this time. I'm not a fan of this. Did I do something differently? Is there a procedural element here? Heart, please. Oh my goodness. Okay. Heart, yes. Heart, door, and boss. Spanky said, never been the hugest fan of these rage bait type games, so I appreciate they're staying true to how tedious old arcade games could be. Yeah, like we were saying, that was a fun crack. Like we were saying earlier, oh, and now I have to deal with this pond thing? Am I getting upgrades? Am I being rewarded for my time? But yeah, like I was saying earlier, you know, yeah, to expand playtime, they just had to be really difficult. and it also meant that they didn't have to develop as much game for someone to play. There were also size constraints on old, physical formats and stuff like that. So, in a lot of ways, it's being very true to that spirit. But obviously, there are some downsides to that as well. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, if you like top-down shmups in particular that aren't the standard, space shooter kind of things, one that I would actually recommend checking out is Pocky and Rocky Reshrined, and the Pocky and Rocky series has been around for a long time. But specifically, they just did basically a remaster of one of the big games. And it's out for basically every platform around right now. I really like it on the Switch, just because it's a handheld thing, and retro games feel good in a handheld. But yeah, that one's been pretty good. It's a little steep. I think the full price is $30 for that one too, which seems like a lot. But it's very fun. The art is fantastic. I forget the name of the developer of the studio, but that one's a lot of fun, and it actually is retro. Like, it's not just, playing at the retro thing. But that's, pretty cool game. I think I got the physical for that too. Get out of here. Get out of here. I have no idea how close I am. I have to go to great. Oh, I think Purple's saying I got a split, but that is a-okay. Thank you for stopping by the stream, Purple. I really appreciate it. There we go. Okay. Okay, so we're getting the pattern. This probably isn't the character for this close-up stuff, though. This is like a shotgun style weapon, right? Oh god. Oh no. This is gonna be interesting. No. No, no. No, no, no. No, get out of here. No. No. Oh. Get him, get him, get him, get him, get him. Get him, get him, please die. Just die, man. Nope. Okay. Okay. It's okay. Oh, how? Oh, it's faster now, I think? No. Okay. Oh, God. Oh, no, that was so bad. Yeah, this pattern's a little tricky. How about this? The third time I get to shoot his head right in the head. Nope. Okay. Okay, well, that's it for us. Oh, no. Also, a heads up, I'm not the kind of person to, like, spend 2 hours, grinding a certain level or something, so there will inevitably be a point where I just bail on this, but not yet. Not quite yet. Spunky says, "Ooh, I should check that out. I'm saving up for like 4 different games at the moment, so I'll have to add that to my list." Yeah, I totally get that too. I typically don't buy a lot of stuff full priced at all, really. But especially the big giant AAA games, like at full price or $60. I was like, no, like maybe 2 or 3 of those a year, and that's pretty much it. So I totally understand that, but yeah, I'm definitely in the bad habit of buying plenty of smaller indie games because it doesn't feel like a big deal. It's $10, it's $20. Of course, it adds up over time. But what else are you getting ready to play then? What else have you been kind of saving up for lately? Is it Switch stuff? Is it PC stuff? Other consoles, etc. Cool, we're good there. Wow, it's only 6:30. My goodness, we got so much time. But yeah, what else do I have on my radar right now? I guess I have some new releases that I'm looking at. The marketing, another Devolver published game, but the marketing behind Cult of the Lamb has been so aggressive for so long now, or at least it feels that way. I feel like I'll be into it. I did play the demo for Steam Next Fest, or whatever it was called. It was a lot of fun. I don't know about the town building mechanics in that one, but it's a neat idea. The combat feels pretty solid, so I might do that, although that's pretty pricey too. I think it's $25 US. That comes out next week. There's a game releasing, I think, at the end of this month called Tinykin, which is basically a Pikmin-style game, which we almost never get. And played the demo for that as well. I had a fantastic time. I love the world. I love the music. The visuals are neat. It's just really delightful. So I'm keeping an eye on that one too. But beyond that, honestly, this is a secret. Don't tell anybody about this. But I got a Steam Deck here. I haven't done anything about this, but I have a Steam Deck because I pre-ordered last July. I got it recently, and at first I was messing around with it. I was like, "Oh, this is fine. This is fine. I get to play some, stuff from my Steam library that works, and some bigger AAA stuff, and in a handheld form, and that's really neat." But only yesterday did I start getting into the emulation stuff on the Steam Deck. And now I'm much more excited about it. So I may or may not be emulating games from basically every major system since the mid-90s, and it's delightful. Like, I really love it. All I've wanted for so long is to play Double Dash on the Switch, and they refuse. They don't want to give that to me. But I'm doing it now, kind of, on the Steam Deck, and I love it. It's a blast and a half, I'll tell you. It's been a great time. Sorry, Splinky has a couple things here. Splinky says, at the minute I'm saving up for Pokemon Legends Arceus, so I'm debating just waiting for Scarlet and Violet to come out, that new Kirby game, Splatoon 3, and of course the Lego Skywalker Saga game. I gotta say, I might as well buy Lego Star Wars on PS4 because it's way more likely to be on sale there. That's fair. Also, honestly, I feel like the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, the whole remaster giant thing that came out, which I assume is what you're talking about, it's kind of a good-looking game from what I've seen. I don't have it. I'm interested in it too. But yeah, like the PS4, just in terms of performance for that game, could be really neat, unless you really need it handheld. But yeah, that might be the better option just for that reason. And now I'm going to play a little bit more because I have things to say about all those. I mean, obviously I made my my Legends Arceus video a while back. I don't think anyone really watched that one. But I never finished that game. I never finished that game at all, which is kind of shocking. And I was having a really great time with it for a while, and there are a lot of good things to say about it. But yeah, I don't know. I got a little bit bored with the loop, I guess. And towards the end, I just didn't... I don't know. I wasn't motivated enough. Although I will say, that game springs random, trainer battles on you, right? Why can't I... Oh, because he's standing up there. That game springs random trainer battles on you, and for the most of the game, it's like nothing. It's like no big deal at all. Who cares? But when you get sort of moving towards the late game, all of a sudden those trainer battles actually become somewhat difficult. Even if I've been playing Pokemon since Gen 1, but all of a sudden I was like, oh wait, I am being challenged. Like, my opponent is switching out their Pokemon to have a type advantage against mine. That blew my brain apart. I have never experienced that before in a Pokemon game. So that was very exciting. Never finished the game. It is neat. It is worth checking out. I have some concerns about Scarlet and Violet based on, Pokemon Presents that we had the other day. So, iffy there, especially on the visuals. But otherwise, I'm sure they'll be fun. There'll be more Pokemon games, but with the open world elements this time. They need to stick to that, in my opinion. if they can somehow get someone in to improve the overall looks of the games, we have all the ingredients all of a sudden. You know, they don't need to change too much about the mechanics, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, here's hoping, but yeah, for the moment, I'm happy to have Arceus, and yeah, I'm sure I will finish it at some point. Splinky also says, I'm a huge sucker for Lego games. Apparently stayed pretty true to the old Lego games, too. Oh, yeah, the Skywalker Saga remaster. Sounds about right. Yeah, based on everything I saw, it was like, oh, this is just a fun set of games that have decent, you know, actual gameplay and mechanics and everything. Yeah, I'm going to switch to the vampire here because I need the spread, I think. This is like a little mini-boss that's just in an underground area, so I have no idea what we even get if we beat this guy. Oh, almost dodged. I don't know how to dodge all that stuff. But yeah, it looks neat. It's just, yeah, like full-price game again. It's like, okay, I'll see if I can swing it. Please don't get more of your little minion guys, please. I just want to kill you. I want to kill like one big enemy in this game, and then I might be happy. Nope, he regrows those very easily. Nope. Wow, I get hit every time on those. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this character's about to die now. Wow, this is maybe even worse than I expected to be at the game on stream. I don't know. I kind of wish I could see a health bar for the bosses. That would feel like a, bit of a motivator for me. With this, it's just like, I guess I'll keep trying. Oh, look, we got him. Now, is this a permanent upgrade, or is it only for the run? I'm a little bit worried it's only for the run. Let's pause, because I have some stuff to catch up on. The Combat Kid says hi. Hello, Combat Kid. Thank you so much for joining the stream. I really appreciate it. I hope you're having a good day. Was your week all right? Have you been watching or playing anything interesting lately that you would like to talk about? Because that's the real goal of the stream. Don't be fooled by the title. This whole thing is secondary. I'm just hanging out with people who like similar things to me, and it's a lot of fun. Flinky says, I get very easily lost in big open world games, which is why I'm hesitant with Legends of Arceus. Like, I've had Breath of the Wild since release, and I still haven't gotten past the Divine Beasts. The first Divine Beast. Crap. Can I actually say something specific about that? In fact, I'm going to stay paused here for a second and put on the music just so we can chat for a bit, because I do have a couple things to say. It's like I said, Arceus, haven't finished it. However, Arceus is not a true open world game. It's not that big, really, in terms of scale or gameplay mechanics or anything. And even the zones, it's not really open world. It's more open zone, like they keep saying about the new Sonic game. You have these like segmented map areas, really. You're not dealing with, Breath of the Wild's massive open world. It's not the Far Cry world, all that kind of stuff. It's these big zones, relatively large zones, but you more or less deal with them one at a time, and then if you want to go back to them, you can, but it really wants you to just keep pushing forward. So it's definitely not as overwhelming, really, even just in terms of gameplay mechanics either. Like, you're still catching Pokemon, you're fighting Pokemon. That's kind of it. And then some light puzzle elements. Whereas Breath of the Wild, like, there's so much. It has the whole multiplicative gameplay thing where you can really just do whatever you want and come up with really creative solutions to shrines and combat encounters and all that. But it was funny that you mentioned I haven't gotten past the first Divine Beast, which I think is Vah Ruta. I think most people get pushed towards the elephant guy first, right? I was in exactly the same position when I started playing that game. I got a Switch in fall of 2018. Not big into gaming at the time at all. It kind of brought me back around. But upon buying the system, I was like, okay, everybody says Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild are the big games. I will buy those games. And I did. Mario Odyssey clicked immediately, and I just went straight through and played it multiple times. I was like, this is fantastic. Breath of the Wild, same thing. I finished all the puzzles in Vah Ruta, and then they're like, here's a big boss fight. And I was like, no, I'm not good at this. I keep dying. This is a game, I assume, that I just need to be good enough to beat the boss and then move forward. But that's not how it is. You can just leave. You can just teleport. You'll be able to teleport back there whenever you want. It saves all your puzzle progress. You buy a bunch of bomb arrows and you spam them on the boss, and it suddenly becomes very easy. And that's not to say that's how the game is meant to be played. It's just I didn't realize how open it was in terms of gameplay and difficulty. Like, if you don't want to do the main quest stuff, you don't really have to. And once I finally started to understand that, it completely opened up to me. And since then, I've, beat it the first time around. I have several other saves going at the same time. Like, I just love being in that world and doing whatever I want, especially now that I understand that aspect of it and like the flexibility of the mechanics and everything. So there's a chance that maybe you would feel similarly about it if you return to it. But I absolutely understand just the, being overwhelmed by the scope of it, and here's a giant world, and there's all these runes and mechanics and stuff, and the enemies, blah blah blah. Absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it to plug away, at least in my opinion. But yeah, I was in the exact same position for a long time. I think I let the game sit for like 2 years after I hit that first Divine Beast. And I was like, I don't care. And then eventually I went back, and yeah, it became a favorite for me. So Blanky says, I see. I find it difficult when games aren't very structured in terms of what order you do things, so open zone doesn't sound too bad to me. Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, if you're into more linear stuff, Arceus is much closer to that. Breath of the Wild, something like that, can offer the structure if you really follow main quests and certain side quests and things. But, yeah, otherwise, very open, and it's just up to you of what you want to do and prioritize and all that sort of thing. So, yeah. But I totally understand that perspective. Shulky says, yes, I was obsessed with Mario Odyssey. Brain's much more wired to things being segmented into little tasks, so I guess the openness of Breath of the Wild was way too new to me. Yeah, totally fair. And like, I mean, as we just talked about, it's a taste thing on one level, but at the same time, you can decide on structure, right? Like, and maybe the games do a bad job sometimes of being too open and not letting you know what you can and can't do at any given time. But if you want it to be structured, if you just want to focus on a couple of things, you can do that, right? But it does take a little bit of effort, I guess, on your part, as opposed to, here's a list of things, Mario Odyssey, here's your next goal, get to that part, here's your checkpoint, beat that guy and move on, anyway. Or something like this, my gosh, Demon Throttle. Go up and beat bad guy. It's not the most open thing in the world. But yeah, just a taste thing ultimately. Should we try it out and see what we get next? Are we going to die immediately after I got my level up, whatever that means? Oh, wow. Oh, it's happening. I was like, what am I doing again? So, yeah, I'm really curious about that level up. As to whether... Sorry, I want to drop the volume on the game just a bit as well. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I don't know if leveling up is a permanent thing across multiple playthroughs or if it's just for any given run. I would really prefer it was the roguelite structure where you can just level up permanently and make future runs a little bit easier on yourself. But I guess we'll find out. Also, we only have one character here now, so if this guy dies, we're done. I don't know whether there's a way to revive our other character, and I just took a hit, so it's looking bad. But here we are. We're doing it. Okay. Oh, I don't like when you're getting stuff fired at you from characters off screen. I'm not a big fan of that. I would like to see what is trying to take me down. Yeah, Mario Odyssey, that's a good game, huh? That's a really good game. Where's the sequel exactly? I don't want to have this dialogue again. I know I did this already. Okay. Oh my goodness. I feel like our chances of beating the boss dwindle further and further as the evening goes on, probably because of the wine. But that's okay. Okay, so that hand is down. You know what this reminds me of? What was the name of the boss in Going Under? Where... Oh, there's a lot of bombs. Can I just kill him completely dead with that? Nope, I guess not. Okay. Okay. Gonna move over here. Oh, come on. I wish I could get some hits in on his head, like, just at all times, if I'm sneaky enough, you know? How about this, Spelunky, if you feel comfortable sharing this? What was one of the first games you ever played? I don't want to make it too personal, but let's see. Don't feel free to, I mean, don't feel pressured to share your age or anything, but like, were you growing up in like the DOS era, or like late 90s, early 2000s, console stuff, PC stuff? He says it's definitely something that's dependent on what kind of gamer you are. I mean, open games like Minecraft are fine with me, since there isn't the idea of a main story lurking in the background of my mind. Yeah, I guess there technically is with Minecraft, but not really. Like, I think they realized very early on that was not the main appeal to the game for most people, and they've adjusted accordingly. I think it's just like, it's just sandbox gameplay. Just do whatever you want, which I can enjoy too. But I think I understand what you're saying. Where like it's not a mix of the two. It's not like, oh, it's a story game, but also with all these open elements. It's just completely open. No story, no big motivations, because that's how I feel about like Terraria. I don't know if you've gotten into Terraria, but that's definitely one of my all-timers, you know? Because, yeah, I mean, I guess there is technically a progression and the series of bosses and all that, but for me, it's big, giant sandbox game, and just do whatever you want. And as they've added a creative mode and stuff later on, it feels great. It feels really, really great to just do whatever you want and just build cool stuff. Oh, I took like 2 hits in a second there. Man. Should we go underground again? What happened to my upgrade? Did I get that upgrade? It says I got. Do I have to manually do an upgrade? Yeah, there's also a CRT filter, but I don't think that would make our viewing experience more gooder. Oh, let's check out the different borders. Oh, we have flames and no borders and adaptive. Very interesting. Okay, so I have no idea. Did I permanently upgrade something? Maybe I should check the manual. Wow, look at all this water here. This sucks. Okay. Heart. Nope, gotta get the heart, even if I take damage on the way. Yep, and I did take damage on the way there. Whoa, wait. Oh, I'm also, like, sliding around in the water? I don't like that. I'm not okay with that. You can use the D-pad for this game, which I appreciate. I just took another hit there. It doesn't feel especially good. I think they really want you to use the stick for this one. First game I played was either Animal Crossing, Wild World, or a pirated version of Mario 64 my dad bought for my DSi. Oh, wait, so he purchased... Okay, so it was, yeah, because they did release it for, was it 3DS or regular DS that they re-released Mario 64? Because I was like, oh, it's a pirated version, but of like a legit game for the DSi? Anyway, I didn't have a DSi. I fell off after Game Boy Color and the GameCube. I completely fell off all video game stuff, basically until the Switch. It was a very long time. A little bit of PC stuff in the mix. But anyway, sorry, there's more here. But that on its own is pretty interesting. So this is a safe zone here from that second wave of bullets, which is nice. Feels like I'm playing Metroid Dread again. Just pattern memorization and, you know, just do it right this time. Do it exactly right, and you get to beat the boss. I love the art, though. This guy's great. What is his name? What is this boss's name? I love his look. Oh. Okay. Okay. No, come back here so I can shoot you. Come on. No, right there. Yep. Okay. Oh, ran right into that one. Are my bombs doing anything? How much health does this guy have? Oh, I didn't get this hand yet? Okay, if we calm down, it's not the worst. It's just difficult for me because I'm not a calm person most of the time. I get real keyed up. I get very nervous in boss fights and such. Come on, just hit any of them hit, please. I think they want me to like. Oh, I don't have any bombs left. Okay. 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 I actually feel somewhat... Oh, I was about to say I have the timing down. It was like, nah, you're taking damage. Sorry. I actually might stop this soon just because I want to actually talk to people here. And it's way too action-y to have like a conversation during gameplay. Okay. Alright. I don't think we're gonna do it, fellas. Yeah, it just keeps going, doesn't it? Yep. Okay. Alright. Time for a break. Okay, anyway. Let's take a look. So, grew up in the 2000s, so most of the games I played were online games like Animal Jam and Club Penguin. Oh, Club Penguin was a whole thing. Yeah, don't get me started on Club Penguin. Minecraft and Terraria were definitely a big part of my childhood, though most of the Terraria stuff was through watching YouTube, since I was always too scared to play it myself. Oh, really? It's pretty easy going now, because they have that creative mode where you can just have God mode switched on. You can basically just do whatever you want. Mario 64 was on one of those sketchy game cartridges that had a bunch of pirated games on them. I absolutely love that thing. Oh, yeah! I've actually been considering getting one of those. Well, maybe I won't have to. We'll see. But I never got to play Soul Silver and Heart Gold on DS. I didn't have a DS. I have a hacked 3DS now, which has been great. But it doesn't work that well with legitimate, legal copies of DS games. So, but yeah, totally on eBay still. You can just find those pirated, you know, not super legit cartridges that are like, oh, here's just a bunch of them. It's not official, but they'll run on your device, so it's okay. So I might get one of those because I grew up playing, yeah, the first two generations of Pokemon I played like crazy. I had red version, and then I had silver version for Gen 2, and put an insane number of hours into those. And yeah, it was great. Loved it. And everybody says that Heart Gold and Soul Silver are really great versions of those games. Just never had access to them. And now the legit copies are extremely expensive. I'm not going to spend that much. So I might actually be getting one of those non-legit DS cartridges somewhat soon. So we'll see about that. But anyway, That's pretty cool, though. Yeah, I think that's a decent environment to grow up in. You know, there's a lot of great stuff coming out at the time. And especially with the Nintendo handhelds. I mean, ever since they started making them, there's been a really solid stream of stuff to play on those. And pretty high quality. And now, I guess, technically all the handheld stuff is funneled into Switch. Fine with me. We're on the Switch right now. In fact, I might shop around a little bit just out of curiosity. I haven't checked the sales for a while. Anyway, but that's pretty cool. I feel like there's another thing. Yeah, Terraria 3. I mean, yeah, if you, I mean, obviously Terraria is dirt cheap at all times, but yeah, if you can get it on some kind of PC or something, and do the journey mode, which is technically the creative mode, totally worth it for the amount of freedom. Like, after you get a certain number of a given item, you can just clone it infinitely, and it's wonderful. It's like the best thing. So yeah, absolutely worth looking into even now, even though it's pretty, that game's like old as dirt at this point, isn't it? Vicky Spotter School, that looks like shovelware. Okay. I don't know what that is. Lost in Play, I made a video about that game. Didn't I? Well, the demo anyway. Yep, let's check out Cleo. What's that? A Pirate's Tale? Solo developed top-down pixel art retro pirate adventure with lots of nostalgic flair. Okay. Alright. With full voice acting in English and German. Oh, there you go. A couple of commas there. They're out of place. Alright. Okay, that's that. It was great. There was a bunch of random, poorly made games. I swear there was an unofficial Breaking Bad game. What? I'm going to try to look that up. But there were some hidden gems. I think all the Cooking Mama games were on it. Oh, that's pretty cool. I've never played any of the Cooking Mama games, although I've definitely heard of, you know, there was some controversy around the Switch release, right? Because it got pooled, ultimately. But yeah, let's see if there's some kind of bootleg Breaking Bad game. What? Breaking Bad, there's a board game. I don't want a board game. No, yeah, it must have been just some random fake thing, because I can't find. There's some people have done concepts and stuff, and I guess that's about it. I was also big into the Professor Layton series, which I had all the actual non-pirated DS games of. Still one of my favorite game franchises ever. That's cool. Yeah, that's what I completely missed. That's the studio's Level 5, right? Which is now non-existent. I think they just died off or something. But I'm pretty sure it's the same studio behind the Phoenix Wright games, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, yeah, I've always heard very good things about those games, but I've never made the dive myself. So that's very nice to hear. That's pretty cool. Oh yeah, Blossom Tales 2, Two Point Campus. I'm sort of interested in. This one, I don't think. It's apparently a game about a real world band, and it's like about them, but it doesn't look super great. Maybe I'm being too harsh, too cynical on that one. I don't know, but I'm not super excited about it. I believe so. I remember there was an Ace Attorney cross Professor Layton crossover at one point. Okay, yeah, I think it was the same studio. I'd have to double check, but that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's some good stuff to have, you know, in the early gaming years, right? I definitely would have been into that kind of stuff if I had access to it at the time. I just wasn't paying attention, really, you know. Oh, Clubhouse Games. Is it worth it? Anything else here? Am I just doing marketing for the Switch at this point? Maybe. That's alright. Should get Pro Skater. That would be pretty good. Doom Eternal, I don't think I will be playing on the Switch. This is one, yeah, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, heavily story-based with some real-time strategy stuff in the mix, I guess. But it's from Vanillaware, which is a developer I actually like quite a bit. And the art alone for that game just looks fantastic. So I might have to take the dive on that one at some point. Smokey says, I've seen a couple of videos of OFK. I don't know what the gameplay is like, but I'm pretty into more story-driven games that just look nice. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, and even just visually, it seems clear that they're going for that, like, what do we call it? Like, low-poly indie look. Annapurna as a publisher. They've published so many games that have a very similar style. And in fact, one of them, I think it's called Hindsight, just came out a couple days ago. And it's like, oh yeah, that looks like a lot of other things. I Am Dead is another one. Technically, Going Under has a similar art style, just really simplistic, simple character models and color palettes and things. But yeah, it totally depends on the usage, I think, the execution, right, of whether or not it's something that works for any given game. But yeah, so I'm curious, I guess, about the OFK game. I probably won't be snatching it up, upon release or anything like that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Story-driven stuff, I mean, I am too, I guess, at times really into the story-driven stuff, the quote-unquote walking simulator kinds of things. Probably one of the most successful in that genre for me was What Remains of Edith Finch, which of course everybody knows. It's, super famous, very highly regarded. But I don't know. It's one that I can replay for some reason. Plenty of story-driven games I only want to play like once or twice, and then I'm pretty much done with them. But yeah, something like Edith Finch, it just kind of worked. Just kind of worked for me, and I can replay it and enjoy the individual stories without feeling like, oh, well, I know what happened, so who cares? So that's pretty impressive. I really enjoyed that. Obviously Stanley Parable, right, in that genre is really fantastic. In fact, that's probably the reason I grabbed this one here, Paradise Lost, which had a tiny bit of marketing a year or two ago, maybe summer of 2020. I saw some marketing for it. And then since then, I didn't. I hadn't heard of it at all. I bought the Switch version because it was dirt cheap, and it's awful. The Switch version is awful. It runs horribly. It looks terrible. But the concept is just a really fun, interesting story hook, and that's more than enough for me in those types of games. If I get to do some of the work of imagining this world and the consequences of this, I don't know, specifics of the story. So anyway, so I would very happily play that on some other system, but here it's not very good at all on the Switch. So there's that. Splanky says, I'm not sure about what games I'm looking forward to at the moment. It seems like quite a few indie games are leaning towards a more Stardew Valley kind of gameplay. It's funny you mentioned that. Yeah, I don't remember the names of all the ones that I've seen, but there's one coming out from some dev in Australia, I think. And the art direction looks very similar to Animal Crossing, but the gameplay looks much more similar to Stardew or the old Harvest Moon games, of course. What's the other one? Oh, there's one that's been featured in a bunch of Nintendo presentations, and they're little creatures. You grow creatures, essentially, and then they follow you around and do stuff. What's that one called? It has a silly name. Anyway, I agree with that general sentiment. And, I mean, I guess I get it. Like, Stardew has been insanely successful. Especially just coming from a solo dev. Like, I cannot imagine the amount of money that dude has made, that Concerned Ape has made from that project. And obviously the gameplay loop in those types of games is very strong, even in Animal Crossing. Like, that was one of my earliest games, was the original Animal Crossing on the GameCube, since the original was only released in Japan. But, like, it just clicks. It just clicks after a while, I think. Even if you're not especially into that kind of gameplay, you just understand it. You just want to do your chores. You want to make more money. You want to get all these little collectibles. So I understand that. And then the farming sim aspect is very strong if done well. It has been in Stardew. I have Stardew on pretty much every different system that I own. Stardew was basically the first thing I installed on my Steam Deck, and I was like, I'm good to go. I'm done. Like, this is what that's what this device is for. I know someone who has they got a Tesla, which is very nice for them, but they got the Tesla, and you can play Stardew Valley on your Tesla screen. Like, it's everywhere. And the appeal of that game is so strong, you know, that it just makes sense for so many people. Like, yeah, of course I want to keep playing that. So I get it, but at the same time, I do get wary of very clear imitations, you know. I don't want to call them knockoffs because I feel like that feels uncharitable. I don't want to be unkind. But I do get concerned that, yeah, probably not all of them are going to click with everybody, you know. So in that sense, they can start to maybe feel like knockoffs, you know, for being a little bit more cynical, like rip-offs. And I don't know, maybe in some cases they are, but I don't want to be that mean about it. Labyrinth City, that's a good one. Man, that's a really fun game. Okay. Swanky says, yeah, I've heard about that first one. I think cozy games have potential to be amazing, but depending on what sort of gamer you are, they can get very tedious, but also have an awful attention span. Totally fair. Yeah, I guess it comes down to that loop, like how brief is the gameplay loop? And this is something that I've heard in discussions of game design in a broader sense, is like, you have to identify and really know what your core gameplay loop is and how long it takes to complete that loop. So for some games, the loop might be 10-15 minutes, combat encounter, loot the stuff from the bad guys, and go to the next thing. And something like Stardew Valley, it might be as short as like a day cycle, right? So a day in Stardew Valley is about 10 minutes, something like that. You do your chores, make some money, and then you're right back in it. In some other games, it might be even shorter. Something like Downwell, for example, the loop is basically moment to moment. Like, just jump and stomp on stuff. That's your job. That's the gameplay. So yeah, especially for people who, you know, have a what do we say, shorter attention span, or just difficulty concentrating on things for longer periods of time. Yeah, the shorter the loop, the better the chances, I think, of it really clicking, you know, and sucking you in. So anyway, so that's that. I also have Stardew on all my consoles, though. It's just one of those things that's nice to go back to every once in a while. Oh, totally. And I do get sick of it. Sorry, music's a bit loud here. Yeah, I definitely get sick of it often enough. I think there was some review I watched, in fact, where the reviewer basically said somewhere between 70 and 90 hours that you put in, that's the point where you more or less complete the main stuff the game has to offer. You have this incredible farm and you feel really good about everything, but that's also the point for me too where it starts to dry up in terms of interest for any given playthrough, where it's like, okay, I'm a bit tired of getting all my crops even if I have my little spirit helpers to harvest them for me sometimes, and you go see the animals and pet the animals and go to the greenhouse and get all the fruit and all this stuff and make the mayonnaise and the cheese. Yeah, after a certain point, that loop, that routine really does kind of not pay off quite as much anymore. So yeah, but yeah, for me, I have so many different playthroughs of Stardew where I just start it up again. I probably won't follow through on it, but I'll play the first, I don't know, 5 to 10 hours just because it's really satisfying to progress in certain ways, right? Like, oh, all of a sudden, I'm making a decent amount of money every day. I know which crops to plant. I'm getting stuff for the community center. I'm going through the mines at a great clip. That's a really satisfying part of the game, I think. And then beyond that, it's just like, how much do I want to do? Do I want to have the most efficient, insane, successful farm ever? Or do I just want to hang out? Do you want to pursue the in-game marriage options, which are kind of silly? But yeah, definitely. After a certain point, I'm like, what am I doing and why? I could do some stuff in real life for a change. So that's usually how it goes for me anyway. Yeah. Anyway. Wow, okay. So this hasn't been the longest stream in the world, but yeah, I feel like I'll probably start winding down soon. Just because I have a couple other things I want to work on this evening. And yeah, I also feel ashamed that I wasn't even able to get through the first main level of Demon Throttle. I will at some point, but yeah, like I said, the difficulty's up there. It's pretty tricky, and there's not a huge amount of game past that first level, but I don't know. It's been okay. It's satisfying enough to play. They did a nice job with presenting the physical edition, all that kind of stuff. So not something I would do all the time, but in this case, it seems okay to me. So it's been nah. But yeah, I wanted to show it even just in case someone wants to see some gameplay. I don't think there are that many, at least at the time of recording, I don't think there are that many other videos out or reviews on it so far. So I doubt I'll be doing a review, but here it is. Here's the footage in case anybody wants to see and all that. But yeah, like I said earlier, I'm sure someone will rip it or dump it at some point so other people can play. But that's just kind of how it goes. Is also with slice of life games like that, it's very easy to have a multiple day streak, and then you forget to play for one day, and then totally drop it for another month. I get that most with Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yeah, and especially with something like Animal Crossing where it's actually real time, right? Like Stardew, it's very accelerated, and you can accelerate it even more if you just go to sleep in the middle of the day and that kind of thing. But yeah, with Animal Crossing where it's actually real time and you feel the need to actually dip into it every single day, yeah, that's a very different dynamic all of a sudden, where it does become part of your real world routine to a certain extent. And yeah, like you're saying, and like plenty of other people, especially when that game first came out, I got that at launch. I was very excited. And it was probably, I don't know, 2 to 3 months where I did play it pretty much every day and put in all my hours and did all the progress and upgraded the house and all that. But yeah, there just is a point for everybody, I think, where it's just like, okay, I don't really need this anymore. Or like you're saying, you break the streak and you just feel like, oh, well, all of a sudden my progress, I'm not as invested in it all of a sudden. Yeah, and I rarely go back into Animal Crossing New Horizons, unfortunately, even though I do. I do care for some of my villagers there. I have a couple favorites, but yeah, I just don't feel motivated most of the time. Also, the loading screens are awful. Loading times are so bad. So like I said, that's cool. It's about 3 a.m. for me, so I'll be logging off for the night soon enough, since I have stuff to do in the morning. Totally cool. Yeah, that's cool. I'll wrap up here as well. But thank you so much for coming out to the stream. Splinky also says, and that game did seem pretty fun. It's one of those things I'd never really considered playing myself, but I do appreciate that I've gotten to see it now. Nice little hidden gem type thing. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that, I was able to provide that, I guess, with the stream. And we'll see if I keep up with it, in the near future. With New Horizons, I sort of just do my dailies, talk to my villagers, and then go off to play the DLC for hours, since that's the one thing that I enjoy the most out of everything else. I haven't gotten the DLC for New Horizons, actually. I probably should. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I don't even do the daily stuff anymore at this point. Or crafting? I don't craft anymore. I'm not doing that. Tude says, ahoy hoy. Ahoy hoy, Tudes. How are you? You're doing all right? Your timing, though, I don't know. I've been considering wrapping up, but we'll see. I was playing Demon Throttle. There's this game here. It's decently fun, but also kind of tough. So I was just kind of hitting my head against it for a while, and failed miserably. But beyond that, yeah. So I was talking about the Steam Deck too. Now apparently, boy oh boy. Also, Spunky says, it's been nice watching. I'll have to tune in next time you stream. This has been very fun. I'm very glad. Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. Obviously, it's a it's a very small channel, small stream, so anybody that comes out, it makes it a lot better for me. So thank you so much. But yeah, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one, and we'll see next time I stream. Maybe next week, maybe not. It can be a bit haphazard, but I'll try to post it, ahead of time so anybody can kind of plan ahead. Two says stressed out, but mostly all right. Yeah, what's been going on? Sorry, I don't want to get into like personal psych stuff or anything, but I hope it's been an okay week. It's been a very busy week for me. But it's done. I kind of almost can't believe that it's actually Friday because I just lost track at some point. Yeah, later, Splinky. Thanks again for coming by. I really appreciate it. Oh my goodness. So what we'll do. How about this? If all you good people can give me just like a minute, 30 seconds to a minute, I'm going to grab some more water and just give a real quick stretch. And then I'll see if I have a decent second wind and we can do something else on the stream and just kind of hang out for a bit. Does that sound okay? Work is what stresses me out, as always. I'll get back to that. Put a pin on that. So just give me 1 second. I'll leave you with Load Runner here to watch. And then I will be back. Is this what I want? Mute that? Okay. Just a second. Okay, here we are. Okay, cool. Toot says, by the way, would you say you're a super fan of the X-Files or just a regular fan? An excellent question. Honestly, I've seen very little X-Files, actually. It was growing up, it was always something that was around, It was very popular, especially I would say when I was in like middle school-ish. It was a pretty big thing, and I had some friends who were really into it. I never got super into it at all. So, shamefully, I don't know if I could call myself any kind of fan without the actual fan base shouting me down. But I do love the idea. I think we could argue that the X-Files also spurred like a whole kind of new, what do we call it? Like a subgenre of paranormal fiction or like alien stuff, like SCP, like the SCP Foundation stuff. I feel like is an extension in a way of what the X-Files kind of introduced. But yeah, I was never super big into it. Which is a shame. Is it now streaming somewhere conveniently where I can watch all of it? Because that would be pretty good. I would be okay with that. Now, is there a way? I'm thinking of booting up the Steam Deck just to mess around with for a bit, but I don't know if that's practical or not. Toot says, I've been researching the series for the past few weeks. Oh, wow. It's a very 90s show, but nothing else quite matches the vibe, including spiritual successors like Fringe, or even rewatching the series. I see. Sorry, not researching. I mean, it can be one and the same, right? Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn on my fan. There'll be some background noise, but I gotta do it. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'm sorry about the background noise, but this is what's happening. I'll lower it a bit. So, okay. So you feel it's kind of best in the genre, right? Okay. Did you have any other big takeaways from the rewatch? Was there anything else really standing out to you, like, I don't know, set a precedent for something, or specific storylines that have cropped up elsewhere? Toot says it's on Disney Plus in Canada. Okay, the physical Blu-rays are basically impossible to buy new here. The absolute cheapest used box set I could find was for $295. Oh my goodness. That's a bit too much. So it's really not streaming, I guess. Just regionally on Disney Plus of all things? That seems very strange. I don't have Disney Plus, so I sailed the seven seas instead. I understand. Yeah, that's weird and kind of a shame. Yeah. It seems like the perfect thing for streaming. Maybe it is streaming somewhere here in the US and I just have to do my research. What do we got? Hulu? Okay, so Hulu, then it would make sense for it being on Disney Plus because Hulu is Fox. Disney owns Fox, so could be something like that. Yeah. But I'm in Canada, by the way. I guess I picked up on that, but thank you for clarifying. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna try to do. I just want to mess around on Steam Deck for a little bit, just for the sake of saying that I did some kind of Steam Deck thing on the channel here. So here, let me just readjust for a second. I need to block that and do this. And now I can get it arranged. Not very well, but is that okay? Not the best work I've ever done, but I will put it up anyway. Okay. Sorry, let me scooch this over here. Pew. And I'll put the chat up on top like this. Yeah, let's mess around with the Steam Deck for a bit. And specifically because, well, I had mentioned it earlier, but also because you were talking about, getting out on the seven seas there to try to track down something you wanted to check out. And as I mentioned about, I don't know, an hour ago or so on the stream. Oh, hi, Kat. Actually, let me see if I can get that on camera. Can you see the cat? Jean, you want to say hello? She's poking out of the tunnel there. Okay, that's enough of that. So lately on the Steam Deck... Oh, wow, that image quality. I can do better. At first... it doesn't look very good either. But anyway, at first the sort of vanilla Steam Deck experience was not super impressive or different for me. I just kind of felt like, yeah, okay, I'm playing some big AAA stuff here, and that's that. But what does this do? Oh, not much. There we go. Sort of. Sorry, there's glare too. Toot says hi, cat. Anyway, but what I've done now, as you can probably tell from some of the titles that are popping up here in poor resolution, I have started dipping into the emulation side of Steam Deck and integrating my completely legal vanilla dumped ROM library of retro games. Because I grew up with Game Boy Color, I grew up with GameCube. That's it. That's the end of the list. And we haven't gotten a lot of those games on modern systems. So I've dipped in now, and now I just have a ton of it on the Steam Deck, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful, and I'm hesitant to mention any of this because there's been some drama lately in the world of like emulation YouTube channels, or specifically people showing old emulated Nintendo games, is that Nintendo's taken them down. If they show gameplay of a Nintendo game, like, I don't know, Mario Kart Double Dash, which I don't have the cover art for some reason, they just take the video down. So, if I were to show it here on the stream, would they notice? Is the stream too small for them to bother taking it down? I don't know, but they've been very aggressive with it. Not super cool. But I will say that if this is the kind of stuff you're into, and if you want to just play a ton of retro games on a handheld, you have access to a Steam Deck. My goodness. It's kind of unparalleled. Just the numbers, things you have access to. In fact, here I'll quickly show my... this is my emulation library, more or less. We've got quite a bit here, and they run beautifully. Anyway, thank you for indulging me. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I'm honestly concerned that if I did... No, sorry, I'll just change my settings. I am a little bit concerned that if I did show gameplay for some of that stuff, that either Nintendo or some other, you know... whoa, uh-oh. That some other publisher, studio, platform holder, etc. would take the stream down and get really mad at me, and I don't really want that to happen, so we're going to avoid that for the moment. Anyway, Toot says, I wouldn't say the X-Files is necessarily best in genre, but it's fairly understated compared to similar shows. I would call it a smooth watching experience. Okay, so by that do you mean, like, it's very hooky, like it's very easy to just get caught up in it and then binge watch the whole thing? Is that what you mean by smooth experience? Or just that it's, like, accessible out of the box, so to speak? Is that what you mean? I'd be very interested to hear an elaboration on that. And then in the meantime, I will thumb through. I acquired some more ROMs to put on my... legally, I acquired ROMs to put on my Steam Deck, so I'm going to do that later this evening as well. Can you give me, like, the elevator pitch for X-Files 2? Like, I actually know what the premise is, but can you pretend you're talking to someone off the street or someone very young who's never heard of it? Like, how would you summarize the show as a whole? Like, core characters, core premise, that's it. No more detail than that. I would be very interested to hear how you, someone who actually knows the show really well, would describe it to someone or, like, introduce it to someone, you know? And I'll drink more coffee. Yep, that's coffee. That's coffee, all right. Oh my gosh, this is in my throat too. Want to come say hi, cat? Huh? Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Bum, 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 bum. No, I can't do this. Sorry, I was testing out a GBA version of Tetris, but I can't do that. It's too good. Too good. Okay. Close, 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 close. But yeah, I'm really starting to fall for the Steam Deck, and I'm happy about that because it is expensive. It is a very expensive device. Okay, you go over there. Beautiful. All right. Cool. All right. Well, I'll say that at the very most, I'll stream for like another half hour, but we'll see if I last that long. The coffee really has to kick in at this point. Yeah, it's been a busy week, but anyway, yeah, and I know too. You mentioned that work always stresses you out and stuff, and I don't want to like don't feel the need to share personal details and all that kind of stuff. I never want that, but I will relate to that 100% for sure, just because. Yeah, 90% of the time, any like consistent anxieties or stresses are completely tied to job or career in general. And if that keeps up with a specific job for so long, I just can't. It's really detrimental to the whole thing, and like my functioning at that job, and also just functioning as a person outside of the job. Like I think it can really cause some legitimate problems. So I try to keep tabs on that stuff, because there's a sort of breaking point. Oh, you don't want to be here. You're on camera. Look. Yeah. Oh, you're sleepy guy, huh? Yeah, I know. This is now the most watched segment of the stream. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do you want some coffee? Anyway, what else has been going on? I think that Inuo movie that I made a video about is coming out relatively soon, so I should double check on that, because I'm sure it'll be in a theater close to me. It's already released. Okay. Oh wait, no, not quite. August 12th. So I guess it's just been at the festivals and such. But yeah, Inuo is an animated movie I'm very excited about seeing soon. Beyond that, not too much. I think it was my previous stream where I talked about Paws of Fury and sort of the dumpster fire surrounding that movie production and release. It was in kind of development hell for years, and then the studio went bankrupt quite a while ago, and then it got bought out. Just that movie got bought out, rather. That's a whole story. That actually might be something worth making a video about, in my opinion. Although I'm sure a different channel could do it just as much better than I could. But what else is going on in the animation landscape right now? As I mentioned long ago here in the stream, there is a Cyberpunk 2077 anime adaptation coming out from Studio Trigger. I really like Trigger. I'm not that crazy about Cyberpunk 2077, but I'll watch it. I think it's a Netflix series coming out soon. Let me double check on that. Pretty sure it's Netflix. Let's take a look. Spin-off. Yep. September 2022. Not that long to wait at all. Okay. But yeah, I definitely have my eyes on that one. So hopefully I'll make something about that. Toot says, it's hard to describe the X-Files within the character limit of these comments. I tried making it succinct, but I failed. To start with, it's a show about two FBI agents who investigate paranormal crimes. Gotcha. So Wellington PD. Have you watched Wellington PD yet? Or what is it? No, it's Wellington Paranormal? Something like that. It's a spin-off from What We Do in the Shadows. That's pretty good. And I guess what? Men in Black. Although it's very different from Men in Black, obviously. But yeah, that's a good elevator pitch. I really like that. That's what I was going for. Is like, what's the most, just cut to the core of it kind of thing. Because I feel like I'm usually bad at that when talking about different shows and movies, where I just go off on like, oh, here's all the details, and here's the people involved who made it, and here's my favorite characters, as opposed to just saying, here's the premise, this is why it's cool, end of story. But I think that's a pretty good pitch. That's not bad at all. But yeah, it is on Hulu. I think I have a Hulu login, so I might be able to binge all of it, maybe even this weekend. Probably not, but I could. I could do it. Cool. Anyway, so yeah, if anybody watching the stream later on, or if there's somebody still watching live who wants to let me know about a specific animated thing coming out soon, I know it's been a little while since I've talked about animated stuff on the channel, but please let me know. Always trying to look for new things to talk about, especially things that really interest me or, you know, fall in line with other projects that I've discussed in the past. That would be really cool. Just let me know about that. And yeah, beyond that, this has been pretty fun. Oh, I shouldn't look at eBay. I'll end up buying stuff on eBay on a Friday night. That's no good. Toot says it's stuck between two different styles / eras of TV, purely episodic and heavily serialized, and it has the benefits and drawbacks of both. Wow, that's a lot. I also do think, I agree, that's an incredibly important distinction in like the history of television and serialized storytelling in general. Is like, yeah, and I've struggled to find words for it in the past too, but episodic I agree with, and then serialized, yeah, okay, I'm good with those terms. But yeah, it's the difference of one-off stories set up and resolved within an episode or two, as opposed to continuing ongoing narratives. And yeah, the ongoing narrative thing has been hip for so long that, as I've talked about plenty of times in the past, it's bled into so much of children's entertainment and animation in general. It's just omnipresent, which is kind of crazy. Because I don't think it's always a good fit, but it is a fit in certain scenarios. It's interesting to see that structure applied to certain shows and like fictional worlds and all that. But that just makes me even more interested in X-Files, honestly. So now I'm going to probably look into it later this evening. How about clips? Are there some good like clips on YouTube that'll get me like hyped up for it? I could be down for that. That would be pretty cool. Oh look, I'm streaming at the same time as the Adult Swim Festival block party. Great. How much of my audience crosses over with the Adult Swim audience? Oh my goodness. Well, anyway, is that about it? This stream has gone some places. It's evolved. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun. It was about Demon Throttle at one point in time. That was neat. But yeah, I think we're pretty much good to go. I might end up watching X-Files all night, or I will continue working on the next video, which I've had going for a while. But honestly, I also kind of wanted a bit of a break after the subscriptions video, because that was a lot. That was a lot of work. So, you know, have to get the motivation back, but yeah, we'll see how that goes. Toot says it has great standalone episodes and great episodes tied into the main storyline, but it also has quite a bit of crap. It's very watchable overall. Okay. That's almost exactly how I would describe or summarize Twin Peaks, I think. Maybe I was going to say the first 2 seasons of Twin Peaks, but possibly all of Twin Peaks, including the movie. Yeah, there's a lot of junk. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's just not that much fun to watch, but then the high points are really high, so it kind of motivates you to move through the whole thing, so I totally get that. Anyway, but yeah, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that show with me, and for joining the stream in general. I really appreciate that, obviously. But yeah, I think I'll wind it down now. So, yeah, I'll just hang out for a minute or two, let the lag catch up and all that. And enjoy this Lode Runner background. I really enjoy looking at Lode Runner footage. The red guys. Oh, they were in my nightmares for so long. It's crazy. And the sound effects. Oh, man. That's a good one. Okay, what else do I need to shut down here? Toots says good night. Yeah, good night, Toots. Thank you again for joining. Thank you to everybody else who came out live for the stream, and of course, a special thanks to anybody watching the the archive version of the stream later on. Hope everyone has a lovely weekend. Feel free to chat with me through the comments of videos. I'll try to get back to responding to those a lot more. There's a Patreon if you're interested in that kind of thing. And yeah, why not sample some of the other videos that I've been making for the past 2.5 years. Cool. Choose also says, if you want a good entry point into the show, Squeeze is great. It also reminds you of how 90s the show is. That sounds like a perfect entry point, so that's probably where I'll start. Anyway, cool. Thanks again to everybody, and have a great night.